Fire officials continuing to battle the garden fire at the mouth of Highway 178. The progress the firefighters are making on this blaze.
A Wasco family is without a home after it catches fire. What we know about the cause.
And drinking water for some Bakersfield residents contaminated with E. coli over the weekend. What water officials are now saying about the bacteria-tainted water.
Live in high definition from KBAK TV in Bakersfield. This is the Eyewitness News 7 at 11.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Rochelle Murcia.
And I'm Dave Gonzalez. More than 300 firefighters continue to battle that garden fire in the Kern River Canyon tonight.
Crews say the fire has burned more than 800 acres so far and is only 5% contained. Right now, the mouth of the canyon on Highway 178 remains closed and will remain that way until at least for a while, though Caltrans believes it could be open by Wednesday. Alternative routes to get to Lake Isabella include the 155 and going the back way, which is the 395. Fire officials say people in Lake Isabella should not worry at this time.
Right now, it's within an area that there is no threat to any of the valley residents besides smoke. As you can hear, lots of resources, lots of crews, lots of air tankers, 100% suppression efforts, and it's really going to depend upon what the wind does.
Fire crews plan on working through the night and into the morning. Forest Service officials say they can confirm the fire is human caused, but the cause is still under investigation.
Wasco family has been displaced after their home caught fire earlier today. Kern County fire crews were called out around 3:30 this afternoon to Blankenship Avenue, where when they arrived, they found the home fully engulfed. The crews had to work quickly to save a couple of nearby homes. Crews were able to save those homes before the flames reached them. Officials say about $150,000 in damages because of this blaze. Cause is still under investigation, and authorities are looking for a man who escaped from a correctional facility this afternoon. Officials say that 21-year-old Ramon B. Mejia walked away from the Male Community Reentry Program facility, a voluntary program for offenders with a year left to serve. Mejia was admitted from the county in January with 4 years left on a stolen property charge and a concurrent 6-year sentence on first-degree burglary. If you have any information about where Mejia might be, you're asked to call 911. A boil water advisory for hundreds of central Bakersfield residents has now been lifted. Cal water officials say the water is now clear from E. coli and is safe to drink. Over the weekend, especially on Saturday, hundreds of residents in Bakersfield were told to boil their water because it had tested positive for E. coli. Cal water officials say they tested the water, they tested every day, and as soon as they detected the E. coli, they immediately issued that notice.
Although it's inconvenient, we have to do what we need to do to protect the safety of the people that we serve.
Cal water officials are reimbursing affected residents for the water bottles that they bought during the advisory, and they're giving credit to some customers on their next water bill. They'll also encourage folks to change their water filters in their homes.
A suspect is dead and 2 officers are recovering in Los Banos, California following an early morning shooting. Investigators say officers were checking out reports of a break-in at an apartment complex when they started arguing with the suspect. That shooting happened just moments later. Early reports suggest that the suspect was able to get his hands on an officer's weapon, but that has yet to be verified. Both officers were shot, but they are expected to survive. The suspect was also shot and he later died at the hospital. Right now, it's still unclear what led up to that shooting.
California will be getting a little more information at the polls when voting on tax measures in the future. That's thanks to a new bill that was just signed by the governor. The law requires local governments to provide more details to voters on proposed taxes. In the past, lawmakers say that voters were not getting enough information when voting on city and county tax ordinances. Now at the polls, voters will see details on the total amount of the tax, its duration, and how much the fee is expected to generate.
There is a incentive on the part of some people in the political arena to not be completely truthful as to what they're either supporting or opposing. And in this case, this provides clear information to voters because, you know, democracy depends on a well-informed citizenry to make the right decision.
The law, which was supported by both Democrats and Republicans, goes into effect January 1st.
It's official, the Summer Olympics are coming back to Los Angeles. The city is set to have the games in 2028 after a deal with the International Olympic Committee that grants LA the event in 2028 in exchange for giving up its bid for the 2024 games to Paris. As part of the agreement, the IOC is giving the city $1.8 billion.
It was a great thing the last time we had it here in LA, and I think it'll be a boom for business and just to kind of bring unity back to LA.
Los Angeles previously hosted the Summer Games back in 1932 and then again in 1984.
Former White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci had a little more drama in his life today. Latest edition of the Harvard Law School Alumni Directory lists him as deceased. There's an asterisk by his name, which indicates an alumnus who died since the last directory was published in 2011. In a statement, Harvard said, indeed, there is an error in the listing. It offered sincere apologies and says that the mistake will be corrected in subsequent editions.
And it's official, the monsoon is making a bid on Kern County. We'll be here over the next couple of days. Right now, 90 degrees outside at the 11 o'clock hour. Winds light out of the north, moderate air quality. And it's not all that bad. The dew point of 51 doesn't feel all that bad, even though it is pretty warm. It's not 90 anyplace else other than the airport right now in the valley, but it's pretty warm up into the 80s and 70s in the Kern County mountains, as you can see. And there's a little trough just now coming into the eastern part of Kern County. That trough, you can kind of see it there. It's kind of hard to see. There's nothing really going on right now as far as shower activity, but the models do say that in the middle of the night we could see a shower develop. 90 degrees right now, 70s up in the Tehachapi area. Temperatures tonight will drop to about 77 degrees. It'll be pretty warm. We'll be up to 95 by noon tomorrow. More clouds. And I've even included a 10% chance for some showers before the sun comes up in the Kern County mountains tonight, up to 93 by noon tomorrow. And a chance for precipitation beginning tomorrow in the Kern River Valley, about 20%. Let's go to Huntington Beach, where the waves have been pretty high. Big sets, big swells coming in from all the hurricane activity down in the eastern Pacific to the south. In fact, you can see they're having a great time there in Huntington Beach. Rochelle?
Let's head to the Diamond Power play of the day. Man on first base for Orioles slugger Chris Davis, who launches the ball toward deep left center field. But check this out. Orioles center fielder Lorenzo Cain goes into the wall and takes that runaway away. Orioles still get the win. That final score was 2-1. But Lorenzo Cain making that catch, he gets our play of the day.
A couple of Bakersfield residents behind bars after an investigation into alleged torture. The reaction neighbors have to this surprising news.
Lawmakers in Kern County are looking to regulate the future of pot in the county. The two options officials are proposing. That's coming up.
Now, your Weather Authority forecast with Miles Museum.
Well, not only is it a Monday night, but it's the last time I'm going to give a weathercast in July. In fact, it's looking pretty good right now. We've got 90 degrees outside, but Billy in Arvin says the clouds are beginning to gather a little bit from the southeast. We'll see what happens. If anything tonight, maybe nothing. It's a season of surprises. 104 the high temperature today and 76 the low. This morning, record for the date 110. Normal high is 98. And here are the averages. It turned out that July 2017, this very month, which is ending in less than an hour, had an average high that was 6 degrees above normal. That's how you can tell right here. This is what the difference was between normal and what we were. And the low of 76 was 5 degrees above normal. And the mean temperature was this, and this mean temperature of 89.1 makes this July the second warmest July on record in Bakersfield. That's saying a lot because July, of course, is the hottest month of the entire year. And this is Bakersfield. So to be the second warmest is a big deal. It turns out that only the hot year of 1931 was a warmer month, and just barely at that. So we go from heat wave to heat wave. Right now it's day 10 of heat wave number 3. If you're visiting, we have plenty of heat waves here. We're proud of it, I guess. A category 1 heat wave, and we haven't had a whole lot of high humidity with this third heat wave until possibly Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Then we're going to be talking intense heat wave, and then the category will go up a little bit. Things are looking a little bit better going into next week as far as humidity and all that. What's going on right now on the radar? Not too much, and you have to go way over here into about the Colorado River Valley to see some lightning, but here it is the middle of the night. Well, it's going to be midnight soon, and we've got showers and thunderstorms, and that's kind of an August thing here. We don't have anything, well, maybe we do. What is this right here? The computer models are expecting something to develop. You can see it right there pushing through the Tehachapi area in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning. Nothing heavy, but even that, you can't be sure. And then down to the south in the Los Angeles area, maybe some showers there. Tonight and early tomorrow morning, it's the monsoon season, and episode number 1 is developing. It'll be peaking on Wednesday and Thursday. That's the best chance to have thunderstorm activity, mainly in the mountains. Lightning is the big threat there. We don't want to start any more wildfires. It's going to continue to be hot, intense heat stress coming up, and heat wave number 3 just goes on and on and on right into mid-August. Temperatures today up to 104 degrees. We're at 90 right now, 50s along the coast. Humidity fairly low, so any rain that does try to develop will probably evaporate. So we're going to watch this system here as it pushes on in tonight and see what develops, if anything. And over the next couple of days, we'll definitely be seeing a chance for precipitation. On Wednesday, more likely just, nothing heavy for the valley. If it rains any day, the first 7 days of August, it will tie a record or set a new record for precipitation. So it doesn't normally rain this time of the year. 80s for lows, that's pretty warm. 50% probability in the mountains, peaking on Wednesday. Temperatures up into the 90s, and in the Kern River Valley, 50% chance for thunderstorms, mainly on Wednesday. But we're going to start the chance tomorrow, just isolated fashion.
All right.
Very strange.
Thank you, Miles. It's an arrest that sounds like a plot to a horror film. Why a Bakersfield couple is now behind bars.
And Kern County lawmakers are looking to regulate recreational marijuana. Coming up, a couple of options the planning department has proposed. A Bakersfield couple is behind bars tonight, facing charges of attempted murder, torture, mayhem, assault with a deadly weapon, burglary, and arson. All of this after sheriff's deputies say they held a woman captive in her own home. Eyewitness News reporter Jeff Platt spoke to a neighbor who can't believe all this happened right next to her. Jeff?
Well, the sheriff's report seems more like the plot of a horror movie rather than real life. And for the neighbors in that area, that horror movie has come to an end with the sheriff's suspects in custody. This is the apartment where the sheriff's office says in June a woman was held captive and tortured for several days before her captors left the home to burn with her inside.
Be safe and, keep the doors locked, windows locked.
Kyra Oliver, who lives right next door, tells me she never noticed anything wrong until she awoke to neighbors frantically knocking on her door.
And then so I come out and her house is smoking.
First responders showed up and cleared the house. The woman who lived there was nowhere to be found. That is until the following morning when Kyra was throwing out her trash.
When she called for me, I'm thinking it was a cat because there's cats over here. Because it sounded like it was something moaning. So
when Kyra walked towards the sound, she saw her neighbor laying on the ground and hanging by a thread.
And so her hands were all severed, just hanging. And she looked really bad. She was bleeding everywhere.
Kyra called an ambulance and the woman was rushed to the hospital. According to the sheriff's report, she broke a window and escaped the burning home, but was still in critical condition. She was stabbed many times with a sword, and she may lose some of her fingers as a result. 50-year-old Franco Ochoa and his wife Amelia Lopez were arrested in Oxnard for the crimes the sheriff's office say they committed against this woman. Kyra says knowing that those two people have been caught is a relief and helps everyone in her entire community sleep just a little easier tonight. Reporting live in studio, Jeff Platt, Eyewitness News.
All right, Jeff, thank you. Kern County lawmakers are taking up the issue of regulating marijuana. Recreational marijuana use is legal in California after Prop 64 was passed in January. Kern County has created an ordinance that is over 1,000 pages long now. Eyewitness News reporter Lexi Wilson has 2 different options that the planning department has proposed. Lexi.
Kern County will be facing 2 options when it comes to recreational marijuana. Option A is to ban all commercial cannabis activities, and option B is to regulate those cannabis activities.
California voters have spoken, it's legal.
Now, Kern County faces 2 options. To ban.
If we ban it, are we going to be able to effectively ban it, given that the state of California has legalized it?
Or to regulate.
Could this be another kind of industry that produces jobs and revenue.
On January 1st, the state of California will start giving out growing licenses, and Kern County wants to be clear on the rules. If the county votes to crack down on weed, there will be no growing and no dispensaries. And to make sure the law is followed, they would create a task force.
And that such a task force would cost upwards to $2 million a year.
Or, if it is regulated, there will be testing, limits on the number of dispensaries, and work permits.
If a dry cleaner has to get all of these permits, why should these operations not have to get all those permits?
From seed to sale of both commercial and medical use. Marijuana expert TJ Esposito says that regulation is what Kern County needs.
Regulating is going to bring in a new tax base. It's also going to create a safer environment for those people working in those places. It's going to create a safer environment for the grows. And for the people using marijuana.
The board will not make a decision till October. But as for Esposito,
we've got to diversify it. Oil doesn't look like it's coming back. Ag is up and down.
a public briefing on the two options will be held on August 22nd at 2 p.m. The board will be taking comments and concerns during this meeting, and September 11th will be the last day for comments. Reporting in studio, Lexi Wilson, Eyewitness News.
Cal Fire crews are trying to battle a set of fires in Northern California. However, officials say that the fires are causing a bit of a headache for them. Reporter Sarah Acosta has more.
Cal Fire crews are gearing up to face tough conditions as they try to contain two wildfires in Tuolumne County.
When it transitions into the brush, that's where it's giving us fits.
Cal Fire Assistant Chief Paul Avila admits one of the fires got away from them over the weekend.
The fuel beds are more receptible. Which, yesterday we had crews on this fire pretty quick, and we had aircraft on this fire very, very quickly as well, and the fire still was able to get out of our control.
Dry conditions are fueling the Twist and Jacksonville fires. The extreme heat is also playing a role too, not only on how crews put out the fire, but how they prepare themselves for the fight.
The high heat, low humidities definitely play a factor in their ability to work in the fire line and the duration. So we really need to emphasize the hydration.
Heading into this heat wave, Cal Fire is preaching caution.
Ultimately, we do not want any more fires to start. We ask everybody. Now is not the time to go out and use your weed eaters and lawnmowers. They'll help give us a break.
A message to help prevent another fire in a season that's already seen so much destruction.
Around 1,000 people turned out to a normally quiet neighborhood in Claremont on Sunday to honor actor Mark Hamill with a street sign. Hamill is best known for his role as Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars franchise. He went to high school in the town before he moved away. The city's mayor decided to surprise Hamill by renaming one of the city's streets after him. The street will be called Honorary Mark Hamill Drive. Hamill addressed the crowd, saying he was very honored by the sign and that he hopes people will see it as a symbol of hope and encouragement.
I'm sure it will do. Fresno State Bulldogs paying tribute to a famous alum, Greg Kerr, coming up next with sports.
Now, Eyewitness News Sports with Greg Kerr.
Bulldogs remembering one of their own, huh?
Yeah, it's sort of been a family thing.
Yeah.
David going first, now Derek getting his turn, and when you're an NFL quarterback, they got to find out when you can make it there. Are you a Fresno State fan, Raiders fan, Derek Carr fan? If you checked all three boxes, guess what? You might want to be at Bulldog Stadium for the season opener September 2nd against Incarnate Word. Yes, Incarnate Word. That's when the Bulldogs will retire Derek Carr's number 4 jersey at halftime. To be fair, by the way, the Dogs play Alabama the next week at Alabama. September 2nd, big night for Derek Carr.
It's an awesome thing. I don't think there's any better ambassador that we could ask for with Derek Carr. Obviously what he did on the football field, of conference championships, players of the year, numerous school records. Academic All-American, so he balanced it on and off the football field, which is always what we're looking for. Obviously, as he has gone on into the NFL, has done very special things. I feel that I have a extra personal gratification of this, because when David was here and he was 5 years old, he was out there, we were doing drops when he was 5 years old with his Nerf football.
All right, so again, that's the story. Derek Carr, September 2nd. 2017 high school football season just around the corner. And with it, we begin our countdown to hometown as we prepare for our 31st season of Hometown Sports. Our first stop tonight, Garces High School.
So what's the story at Garces? Rebuild or reload?
Reload, restructure, but yeah, we're rebuilding. It's one of those years where you lose a really strong senior class, a senior class that had really played for 2 full seasons, and you're replacing them with guys who haven't seen the varsity tempo yet.
Many weapons have moved on. Not 1, but 2 quarterbacks.
Joseph Campbell's our guy. I mean, he's come such a long way from spring till now, maturing into a leadership role. Brevin Austin's back, and he led our league in receptions and touchdowns, I believe. So he's in my opinion, he's probably the best route runner in town. He's got incredible hands.
Some good news. Running back Isaiah Martin, he's back.
He's going to be our workhorse. There's no secret about it. I think if you followed us last year, you could see that we had a ton of weapons. All of those guys are gone except for Isaiah, and he's going to be the guy who carries the load for us this year.
Honestly, I like the bullseye. I like people hunting at me, and I like the pressure, and that's only going to make the team better, and that's only going to make me better. And my coach always stresses that the harder you work, the better you'll get. So, I mean, I'm just ready for the competition this year, and it should be really good.
Is Garces ready to ground and pound instead of the huge
We are. We're ready to ground and pound. We're always ready to ground and pound.
The defense, Green in the secondary, is experienced at linebacker.
We're a step or 2 slower, but we're much stronger. So in my mind, we'll be probably a little bit more physical, a little bit more punishing on the defensive side of the ball, and that to me, we're going to out-hit teams, and that's going to be our advantage.
We're still pretty positive about it. Pretty strong group of young guys, so we should be pretty good the next couple years.
Rebuild or reload? The real lesson at Garces, don't look back.
Erase it all, and today is a brand new season.
Yes, sir.
Coach, understand that?
I can't wait. Our team has been looking strong every day, and every day we've been getting better.
Get better on 3. 1, 2, 3. Get better. Let's go.
All right, tomorrow, by the way, at 6 o'clock, we'll check in on Paul Gola and his defending Valley champion BHS Drillers. Bakersfield Train Robbers' inaugural season coming to an end tonight, losing a second straight game to High Desert in their best-of-3 playoff series. The final 10-3 is 7-run 7th. The difference, High Desert advancing to play division champion Tucson. Dodgers using their day off to pick up 3 arms for the stretch run, a pair of lefties, Tony Watson from Pittsburgh. Former Blaze pitcher, Tony Cingrani from Cincinnati. The big catch, Texas Rangers ace Yu Darvish heading west. In Darvish, they get the Rangers ace, a right-hander to squeeze in between all those lefties on the staff. Even better, the Dodgers didn't have to give up any of their top 3 prospects. Does this mean the Rangers are sellers and giving up on their season?
We still have games to play, and we're still in the fight. Until they tell us that we're not in the fight anymore, we're still in the fight. And I relish the fact that some of this is going to go down as well. The Rangers are now not part of the equation. Go ahead.
New York Yankees grabbing another arm for the stretch run as well, picking up Sonny Gray in a deal with the Oakland A's. Gray, off to a slow start this season, has been strong in his last 6 starts. In return, the A's receive shortstop Jorge Mateo and 2 pitchers currently on the disabled list. Gray's just 27. His contract runs through 2019.
He's really good, and we've faced him a number of times, and we know the type of stuff that he has. We improved ourselves today.
And Washington Nationals pitcher Gio Gonzalez working on a no-hitter in Miami. Clean through 7 innings. Boy, he was looking good. Nice play here at third base. We go to the 9th inning. D. Gordon at the plate, and he is promptly going to break things up. Base hit right there. The Nats, however, go on to win by a final of 1-0. Boy, if they got him going with Scherzer, and Strasburg.
Look out.
Dodgers, Nats, that would be tough. Eek. Don't forget the Cubs.
All right. Thank you, Greg. We'll be right back.
Well, we flip to a new month. We flip to a new weather pattern. We could see some showers around as early as the wee hours of tonight in the Tehachapi Mountains, possibly later on. Nothing's happening now, but the models say that we might see a shower. And then we're going to see, of course, high temperatures up around 104 degrees next couple of days, overnight lows in the 80s. And even a slight chance for precipitation and lightning here in the valley. And up in the mountains, lightning will be the biggest threat.
That'll do it for us, folks. Thanks for watching your 7 and 11.
Good night.
Good night.
Miles, what's it?